First, Jeff Williams will be exiting the Quest airlock on his 5th spacewalk, followed by Kate Rubens. Jeff will lead from the airlock up onto the main truss segment. Because of the distance of the radiator from the airlock, it's actually on the end of the truss out P6, Jeff will be taking the safety tethers of both crew members out and setting them up on P1 to allow enough reach for them from the airlock all the way out to P6. And while he's taking care of that, Kate will wait at the airlock for him to set that up. And then he'll head out towards the solar alpha rotary joint, the Sarge, and then followed by Kate, who will come after. She will follow that same path and follow her tether to meet Jeff out there before they both head out to the prime task on the EVA, which is retracting the ticker, as Zeb mentioned earlier. As was mentioned, this previously tried to retract this on US EVA 33, and they had a lot of other tasks that they had to do, and were unable to get to this one successfully, but we were taking this as our prime task, and we'll go ahead and knock it out first on the EVA. So once both crew get outboard of the Sarge there, they'll inspect the radiator and the various mechanisms around it to make sure none of them will be in the way as we retract it. Both the shroud and there are 6 cinches rotated or located around it that they'll inspect. Kate will translate around the zenith side of that truss, and Jeff on the nadir looking at the radiator to make sure it's prepared for its retraction on this EVA. Once they've completed their inspections, Jeff will move into place to take his pistol grip tool or PGT power tool to retract the radiator manually while Kate gets in position to view the radiator's retraction to make sure it goes smoothly. With its location facing forward on the ISS, we'll have good views from the ground as well to help the crew monitor its retraction. As you see here, Kate will slide outboard and get a view of the radiator, while Jeff puts himself on the outboard side in position there at the bolt. As was stated, we retracted it previously, and we've got the video here of what we hope to see on this attempt is a nice smooth retraction of the radiator as it comes down and gets retracted fully to protect it from the MOD and thermal conditions, as Zeb mentioned earlier. Assuming a nice clean retraction there and have got it seated fully, the crew will work to install 4 cinches, much as you would the lug nuts on your car tire. They'll work in a cross pattern diagonally from each other, installing 2 cinches here, and then they will slide and work a cross pattern 2 additional cinches and work back and forth a couple times at each bolt to get the radiator fully cinched and compressed into place. After fully securing all 4 of the cinches, the next step is to deploy a thermal cover in order to fully protect the radiator. Gets both thermal protection and micrometeor orbital debris protection from that cover. And deploying that shroud over the radiator will complete the retraction of the radiator and the prime task on the EVA. So here you see the crew. They'll move the shroud, which was stowed by a previous crew that deployed the radiator, Sonny Williams and Aki Hoshide, and they'll deploy that and cinch it tight to protect that radiator. Moving on for the second set of tasks on the EVA, Jeff will pick up a foot restraint here and make his way back inboard to the SSRMS, or the Canadarm2, for the high-definition camera task that Zeb mentioned, while Kate is translating back all the way to the airlock to retrieve those cameras for Jeff to install. So she'll pick up both a high-definition camera and a light from the airlock to put on the camera port 9 work site that's on the nadir side of the port 1 truss, while Jeff will meet the SSRMS that's being driven by JAXA crew member Takuya Nishi, who will then drive the arm in under Jeff's guidance so that they can get the foot restraint installed and the safety tether installed. While Jeff is installing that, Kate will come out to meet him with his bag of ORUs so that he can install them on the nadir side of the truss there, that camera just below where he is right now. After picking up his bag, they'll maneuver the arm down to the nadir side of the truss there. So following retrieving that bag for Jeff, Kate will have some secondary tasks that she'll go off to at the solar alpha rotary joint, the SARJ, cinching those bolts, as Zeb mentioned, and also doing a SARJ inspection. So she'll translate outboard, grab some tools that she'll need for those tasks, and then head back around to tighten the 3 remaining bolts of the SARJ. There were a 4th one that was previously tightened on USEVA 33, and they saw improvement in the data. So they decided that the remaining 3 bolts would hopefully finish the job there. So Kate will translate around 3 corners and give us good photos and video closeout as she goes ahead and tightens those bolts and secures the thermal booties around them. Previously on USEVA 33, they saw one of the booties was dislodged, and so we're going to make sure that if need be, if the Velcro is degraded on those booties, that they can put a wire tie to secure them in place. So she'll translate around to multiple joints here. Second one and then a 3rd one. And depending on timing here and lighting conditions of how the EVA is going, she will complete a SARJ inspection. Previously on STS-134, the crew did lube the port SARJ, and the ground has done some testing to see how that lube will hold up over time. We'll get Kate's on-site inspection to verify that the ground testing is matching up with what happens on orbit. And we'll catch that during sometime during one of the day passes, and she'll come swing by here, give us her report, and take photos of that for later ground analysis. And while she's working on that, Jeff will work in here. He'll first change out this light. This is a light that has burnt out its bulbs, and once we get completion of the RPCM R&R that Zeb mentioned, they'll have a good heater circuit there for the light, new light to be put in its place and make this camera fully functional. And on the side of the standard definition camera that's already there, we'll install an additional high definition camera, so they'll be co-located to get both standard def and high def from the same pan tilt. And Jeff will clean up his work site and have Talk back the arm away. Following Kate's SARJ inspection task, she will move back outboard towards the radiator work site that we previously were at. We have some ORUs that are pump flow control subassemblies that are ammonia pumps for the outboard elements, and those pumps had previously failed, and they are under an MLI blanket. And to enable future change out of these boxes by the SPDM, Dexter, Kate will fold back that MLI and tie it back, and so a future SpaceX mission can bring up replacement boxes. And so since the MLI was never designed for robotic compatibility, she'll just tuck that out of the way and wire tie it in place. That'll complete the main task objectives on the EVA for the day. And so Jeff will guide Talk and the arm back to the same position he got in, and he'll egress the arm and stow both his foot restraint and remove his tether from the arm and get back on the structure for cleanup. Once he's cleaned up the arm and allowed Talk to move it to the overnight park position, they will take the foot restraint and install it on the CETA cart for future use on another EVA. And then the crew will repeat a reverse direction of their egress, and Jeff will meet up at the tether anchor point while Kate heads back to the airlock, and they will use their tethers to move their way back to the airlock and ingress for a hopefully successful USEVA 37. And then we'll get Jeff back inside for preparation for his return just a few days later.